Gentleman from South Carolina recognized.
Madam Speaker, I yield as much time as he may consume to the gentleman from New York, Mr. Anthony D'Esposito, Chairman of the House Administration Subcommittee on Emergency Management and Technology and the author of this resolution.
Gentleman is recognized.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today in support of House Resolution 883. I rise today as well to thank House Republican leadership for bringing my resolution to a vote as part of their swift and necessary response to Iran's unprecedented attack on Israel. My resolution condemns the slogan, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," because it is blatantly anti-Semitic. Madam Speaker, it is no coincidence that this slogan has been embraced by not only the violent, barbaric leaders of Hamas, but also countless other terrorist organizations and adversarial nations like Iran. Madam Speaker, I remind my colleagues that this slogan was used by Iranian leaders responsible for the recent attacks on Israel. It is also no coincidence that this phrase has roots in Hamas's charter, a document which explicitly calls for the destruction of the State of Israel, the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. When anti-Semitic activists masquerading as merely pro-Palestinian spray paint this slogan on the site of the 1972 Munich massacre of Israeli Olympians, we know, and they know, exactly what they are communicating. This slogan communicates one thing and one thing only. It is not human rights. It is certainly not peace. It is the violent destruction of the State of Israel and the Jewish people that live within it. Madam Speaker, at a time in history when anti-Semitic attacks have surged nearly 400%, Madam Speaker, 400% following Hamas's brutal, unprovoked October 7th attack on Israel, we need this resolution now more than ever. When Jewish students throughout this nation and in my home state of New York, at universities like Columbia and Cooper Union, speak up about the anti-Semitism they're facing, they cite phrases and slogans just like these. Too often, events that may have started as peaceful protests quickly cross the line and turn into anti-Semitic, anti-Jew rallies. Perhaps the most common denominator in these instances is the presence of this slogan. It is not simply a slogan, it is a threat. It is a threat to Israel, it is a threat to the Jewish people. It does not get us any closer to peace, it gets us further from it. To employ this slogan is to perpetuate the cause of hate and regional instability. I remind my colleagues that the Anti-Defamation League regards the slogan as anti-Semitic and a cry for Israel to not exist. The ADL informs us that to use this slogan is to call for, and I quote, effectively erasing and destroying the entire Jewish state. I remind my colleagues that between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea sits America's strongest ally, the Middle East's only democracy, the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. And as the representative of the most Jewish communities in this country, it is very clear that we need to act. Between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea sits Israel, a free, diverse nation, a safe haven for Jewish people, formed in the wake of the mass murder of European Jews. When the world witnessed the tragedies of the Holocaust, we said never again. Now is our chance to mean it. and to reject anti-Semitic hate in all of its forms, whenever and wherever it rears its ugly head. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
New York yields back. Gentleman from South Carolina is recognized.
And, Mr. Speaker, I reserve to close.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from